What's the best Wi-Fi name you've seen? Router? I hardly know her, was my all-time favorite. Crack Shack, which wasn't exactly creative, but we later found out that the owners were arrested for selling drugs. Edit. No, it was not a restaurant. We don't have a restaurant chain named Crack Shack in my state. Easy way to tell customers how to get there. Just drive up 5th until your phone sees the Crack Shack Wi-Fi. You'll know which house it is. Apostrophe. That's actually ducking smart. My younger brother set his mobile hotspot to hot singles in your area, and I'm never gonna get over it. Missed an opportunity for hot signals in your area. Mine's been 8 Hz 1IP for a very long time now. People still don't get it. Subtle sometimes goes over a lot of people's heads. We are not allowed to have our own routers on campus, so I named mine AT&T Mobile Hotspot. Gotta go for something less obvious like John's iPhone. But then there'll be 2. Rebellious Amish family. I scrolled down far and it was worth it for this comment. I ducked Jenny, landlord's wife. I had a friend who had that. Hated his landlord. But the landlord couldn't find out which tenant was broadcasting it. The friend had it hooked up to a battery so the landlord couldn't cut the power to find out whose it was. I was like, a battery? Now I don't believe this story. And then I remembered that I also own UPSes. It's also pretty easy to hook up a 12V battery to many routers and other devices that use 12V power adapters. I install internet etc. for a living. Best one I ever came up with was for the Delta Phi sorority. Delta Wi-Fi. They loved it. My frat's Wi-Fi was called Lambda Chi Alpha. I'm sure you can guess which one that was. Edit. Damn, so many brothers on Reddit. Theta Upsilon 943 here. My dad's a huge fan of the Matrix and calls every router we've ever had the Nebuchadnezzar. Or he really wants a 15-liter bottle of wine / cosplays as a Babylonian king. I had a roommate that named us Batlin and Login. I always thought that was clever. One day, the Batmobile wouldn't start. Batman, Robin. Quick, the Joker's going to get away. Check the battery, Robin. Okay Batman. Just one question. What's a Terry? For the longest time, I had my phone's hotspot name as Police Surveillance Tricycle. Turns out, it's a good way to get some people paranoid and have others amused over the whole thing when having it active during classes. I would use FBI Surveillance Van Hash 4. Lol. Mine is currently FBI Surveillance Van Hash 6. I change the number randomly from time to time. Close bracket. My favorite is it's on the back of the router edit. On the back of the router it would say ask my name for password apostrophe. My Wi-Fi password for a while was on their router. Hilarity ensued. The following password was it didn't change. My buddy has their as password as his password for the same reason. Was at a church and some neighbor had Jesus has left the building. Jesus has left the chat. Sin has entered the chat. One of my sons, probably about 12 or 13 at the time, friend's father set added a Wi-Fi channel named Free Internet Porn when his son had a birthday sleepover. The father then sat outside the area where they were sleeping and listened to them spend hours trying to figure out how to connect. My son called me that night asking how to connect to a Wi-Fi channel when you don't know the password because his friend forgot their password. I told him the only way was to guess. Evidently it kept them busy and out of trouble all night until they broke the code. Hacker voice. I'm in, goes to Google and searches boobs. In my last apartment I named my Wi-Fi New England Clam Router. Always like that one. Mon Frenchy say it. Router, it's router. When my grandma was getting her Wi-Fi set up, we asked her what she'd say to people who asked for her Wi-Fi. She said that she would tell them to go to hell. So that's now her password. So whenever people ask for the Wi-Fi password, she tells them, go to hell. That's good. I set mine as no for a long time. My brother would ask for the password and I would reply no. Would on the Wi-Fi password was I don't know. Hilarious when anyone asked him how to get on his Wi-Fi. It was like a vaudeville routine. guy walks into a bar and asks the bartender, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" The bartender replies, "You need to buy a beer first." So the guy buys a beer and asks again, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" The bartender replies, "You need to buy a beer first." All lowercase, no spaces or punctuation. Friends of mine did a similar thing at a party once. They taped up a huge banner on the wall that said "I to him Wigmab." Everyone was asking what it meant. Friends responded, "If I tell you what it means, will you get me a beer?" Almost everyone who asked didn't get it and came back to them with a fresh beer. LAN Rover. This LAN is my LAN. This LAN is your LAN. From California to the New York Island. Wu-Tang LAN. One of my neighbors has been Wu-Tang LAN for years. I love it. Password is protect Yanet. Password. The password was Wi-Fi. Protected says and unprotected says for a British electronics store called Sex. My iSpace Cox, so do with that what you will. Chipital, guess there's no Chipital nearby. It's stupid shit like this that cracks me up the most. I don't know why. I set my house network as McDonald's free Wi-Fi. My mother thought I legitimately got a Wi-Fi plan from McDonald's. There is no McDonald's nearby. I caused a small family panic when I named it Disconnected. Edit. Thank you guys for so much more evil ideas and suggestions. My family will suffer more and I'll burn in hell for sure. Thanks. My so changed after loading. I'll never get back the time I put into trying to fix it. Mine is connecting. Apostrophe. Malware. Eggs. Not avarice. Eggs. Note a doctor. 99. Cisco Inferno. Lord of the Pings. Password Lagolus. Fee you fools. My friends. You both no one. My favorite was Mom. Click here for internet. Calling it now that someone else's mother who has visited their child within that Wi-Fi router's range has tried to connect to it. When Ops Mom slept over at my place, she tried to connect to it. Totally safe Wi-Fi. No spyware. Promise and let it open. Without password. Heather, I've got my guest network SSID as very free Wi-Fi, no virus. Wi-Fi for hot singles in your area. Yalkats Jatoff Milan. One of my neighbors used to have Jeroff Moil LAN. My neighbor had 2 brothers chillin' in a hot tub. 5 feet apart cause they're not gay. Lol, that's the password. I was in the back of a bus and the Wi-Fi name was say chicken nuggets. He yelled chicken nuggets to the front of the bus. Someone replied no spaces. I didn't get it at first, but after like 5 minutes I was like, wait. Put in chicken nuggets for the password and I was in. Back when my sister lived on a college campus there was a yell penis for password. Never actually tried it out though. Try and embed in the modem. That's mine. Password is cool edit. Yes, I know it should be cool. Cool, but I just did triple cool because that's the amount he says fast. Ah, that's nice. My phone's hotspot is Drive. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Your Wi-Fi is just a Puyo reskin. Go back to California when I had just moved to Texas and had CA plates on my car still. Jeez. Goose. Who the hell is stealing my Wi-Fi? That's what she SSID. I use this and router. I hardly knew her. The line before time. Free Wi-Fi. Silence of the LAN is a top contender for me. Mine's pretty classic, pretty fly for a Wi-Fi. The Promised LAN. House Lannister. That's the name of my 4 GHz Wi-Fi. My 5 GHz is ping and north. When my brother was in the Air Force Reserve, I went to his house one day and say his Wi-Fi name was LAN of the Free. I'm in a military barracks and my Wi-Fi name isn't Sys Surveillance Van. We thought it was hilarious when there was suddenly a network called RCMP 4325 hanging around. But then the neighbors got busted for cocaine. Is this the Krusty Krab? The password was Nothesis Patrick. I use this one for my hotspot. Nobody has tried to connect to it yet, but I'm hoping one day they will. It burns when IPE. 8 hurts one IPE. Saw this on a Reddit thread years ago and it has been my Wi-Fi name ever since. Mine was Imanland for a while. Tell my Wi-Fi love her. I kinda wish the person responsible for that router updated the name regularly to fill everyone else in on how their relationship was going. Tell my Wi-Fi need more space. Tell my Wi-Fi want another kid, but only if she's okay with it. Tell my Wi-Fi want a divorce. Tell my Wi-Fi want the router. The Promised Land. Benjamin Franklin and Vladimir Routin. Abraham Links's. My neighbors in college had one called Uncle Touch's Puzzle Basement. Patton Oswalt reference. Nice. You won't wear a shirt and you'll cry. The best Wi-Fi name that I found led me on an elaborate adventure. It was called Help Girl Kidnapped Floor 9 at 30C. On the door of that apartment was a post-it note that instructed me to go into the basement where there was a stash of free marshmallows. Grabbed enough to add into a cup of white hot chocolate. Meanwhile the poor girl is still being held at floor 9 at 30C. Kidnapper A, what are we going to do about the Wi-Fi? She changed the name. Kidnapper B, switch it off real quick. They will find out. Kidnapper A, but neighbors will find it weird. If power is on and Wi-Fi is off. Kidnapper C, just stick a post-it outside and put some marshmallows downstairs. 3 days later. A, how many more packets do we need to buy? My mom's friend had someone mooching off his Wi-Fi, so he changed the name of passcode. He made the name Blue Balls in the passcode DuckUGym, and I have so much respect for this man. Girls Gone Wireless. Fire Nation, because my folks are always fighting. Not because you're ruled by Fire Lord Jose. Mine when I moved into my friend's house was not a meth lab. We lived in Muncie, in the meth capital of the state, and had the cops knock once. My dad named our Wi-Fi Money Pit growing up. He was reluctant to have to pay for Wi-Fi as opposed to our dial-up. He's gone now, but I still name my own Wi-Fi Money Pit because of him. It makes me happy. Connecto Patronum. Nice. Mine is Axio Internet. With the password Elohamora. Used to live in a rough neighborhood with lots of addicts. Husband set us to surveillance van. 1. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily Reddit videos.